Hello, everybody. I'm Melissa, and welcome back to Book Bar, and welcome to my February end of month wrap up. If you're new here, I do my wrap ups in mid month and end of month, and so I had read a total of 31 books. This first 16 that I read are in my mid month wrap up, and obviously this is the last 15 that I read this month. Yes. I wrap them up in the order in which I read them. Or the order in which I completed them. So I may have started a book before I finished a different book, before I finished it, and finished a different book before that, but I just do it in order of how I completed the books. So the first book that I finished in the month was To Love Jason Thorne by Ella Mays. I absolutely adored this book. This is Jason and Olive, and Jason is Olive's older brother's best friend. I wonder, so her older brother's name was Dylan, and that's the hero in The Hardest Fall. So I wonder if they're like connected. I mean, all her covers match, so sorry about the light. Let's see if I can. All right, I'm gonna try it. It's in. So yeah, basically, when they're kids, they grow up, and Olive has a crush on Jason forever, and she ends up going to college and writing a story about him, like a book about him, and becomes like a #1 bestseller, and it gets optioned for a movie, and the actor that they hire to play his character, it's not Jason Thorne in the book, he has a different name, but the actor that they hire is none other than Jason Thorne, and they end up having to kind of like fake date / get married, to make things happen for both of them. And yeah, it was just fantastic. I absolutely adored it. I gave 5 stars. Yes, I loved it so much. Then I read Stay With Me by Alexandra House. This was a fun book. I thought it was enemies to lovers, but it wasn't. They were neighbors, and then it was kind of like, so it was forced proximity in that sense. And then they kind of became friends, and then they became lovers. And it was good. I gave it 3.5 stars. Nothing like overly spectacular, but yeah, I had a good time. Angela and Ryan are the 2 characters, and it's Black love, so always a good time to read, and I had a good time with it, so I don't know what else to say. It was pretty short, so like there's not a ton I can say without giving spoilers. So I was more interested in the sisters, Angela's sister stories, because it's the Strickland sisters, it's like the series, so I was more interested in their story. So we'll see how that goes, like if when I go to pick those up. Then I read a book way out of my comfort zone. I read Gallows Hill by Darcy Coates. This is a horror book that takes place at like a haunted winery, but I had a good time with it. Could I tell you the main character's name? No, could not tell you. And I don't write down things about non-romance books. I'm sure I could look it up, but yeah, it was a horror book. And so this girl, she ends up taking over, her parents both die, and she ends up taking over their winery, and she kind of learns, like, she's like scared, and she learns some stuff about the winery, and that people kind of know that it's haunted, and she figures out why it's haunted. And it was very good. I gave 4.5 stars. I had a great time with it. Then I read The Rookie and the Rock Star by Jiffy Kate. This was just a super fun baseball sports romance that followed Bo and Charlotte, aka Lola. And Bo is a baseball player, the rookie, and Charlotte is a rock star, the rock star. She goes by Lola Carradine, and Charlotte has had some like problems in her past. I do have a full vlog where I read this book, linked up above. I read books for Holidays with the Bells signing, and because Jiffy Kate were there, that's where I got this book. But I had a great time with it. And Lola and Bo, like, Bo is this up and coming, he wants to be all his whole life has just been baseball forever, and he never like been in love, nothing, only ever worried about baseball. And Lola has gotten into some trouble in the past. There's some stories going on about her, and they meet, like, have like a chance meeting, and they go out to get crepes, and they end up just like super falling in love, and it was great. I loved it. It was fantastic. So yes, But I gave it 4.5 stars because the third act did draw out a little bit too long for my liking. But, you know, it was still a wonderful, good time. Then I finally finished Wild Distortion by Tina Saxon. This book, y'all, had way too much going on. Like, so Riker is suspended from his football team because he took the hit for his teammate because his teammate had like drug problems. So he took the hit saying he had some weed or something on him. So he gets sent to Tahiti to like lay low. Well, there he meets Aspen. And Aspen is not a native to Tahiti. But she lived there. She's like grown up there. She lived there since she was like 2 or 3. Or even younger maybe. But her dad's very secretive and whatever. And so claims he has cancer and all these crazy things. And so Riker leaves and then he wants her Aspen to come visit him. So he buys her a plane ticket to New York and a lot of craziness happens. Yeah, it was just wild. There was way too much going on. You learn a secret about Aspen and like her childhood, and yeah, there was just too much happening to really enjoy it because like I felt like there was always something like crazy bombshell happening and it never felt like one cohesive story. So I gave it 3 stars because I still had a good time with it. Like it was still, plus the cover alone gets a whole star. But yeah, it's just the writing was not my favorite and the plot was not great, but the characters were really good. And like the setting was fantastic. I could go to, especially when they were on the island, I could see it, I could smell it. Like I had a great time with that. But yeah, it just wasn't my favorite. So 3 stars. Then I DNF'd The Light of All That Falls by James Islington. I just didn't care. I gave the first 2 books 3 stars, and like I was like, oh, I'll finish it because Backlist Book Club, which is hosted by Cassidy at Covers with Cassidy, this was their series, and so I read the first one to get caught up with them. I read it, and then I read the second one and watched the live show, and then like I went into the third one, and I could not. I didn't care. Like at all. I just did not care, and like I was like, I don't want to pick it up, so I just DNF'd it because it wasn't worth it. Like it's not worth it to listen to a book that's probably only going to get like 3 stars anyways. So yes, DNF'd that. Then I finished Veritas by A.L. Woods. This was an enemies kind of to lovers one night stand that like happened months ago. We don't see on page that ends up turning into more. Maria and Jordan. And Jordan is a single father, and Maria, they're both lawyers, and Maria is very much like, she puts on this like perfect persona, like everything about her is perfect, like but like on the outside, because like on the inside she's really like messed up emotionally and everything. So yeah, it was interesting. I gave it, what did I end up giving it? It was 3.5. I gave it 3 stars. Yeah, like it was very long for what happened, and I felt like there was just too many secrets and too much of like back and forth, and not enough of them like actually being happy. And yeah, so 3 stars. Then I finished Straight Shooter by Stephen A. Smith. This was my memoir, my nonfiction book that I read this month. This is just Stephen A. Smith talking about his time on ESPN and his life and everything, and how he, like, just stuff about his life. I give 5 stars. I give all memoirs 5 stars. I never was a big Stephen A. Smith fan because, for multiple reasons. Well, one, just like he never had a good chemistry with Max Kellerman, and I'm obsessed with Max Kellerman. And 2, like, he talked crap about Aisha Curry, and he mentions this in his story, like, and I love Aisha Curry, like, she's, like, my idol. I want to be Aisha Curry. And so he, like, and so I was never a big Stephen A. Smith fan, but, like, as I've, like, gotten older and, like, started, like, now he has his own show, he's, like, the host by himself, I've really started to appreciate how he talks about sports, and plus he just absolutely hates the Dallas Cowboys and their fans, and it just makes me laugh so hard. So, yeah. I finished that memoir, had a good time. Then I DNF'd another book. I DNF'd Sloth by Ella James. again, this is in a vlog, and I was just so, like I just did not care about what was happening, and not just, there was like a weird mystery, and yeah, I don't know, just not great at all. So again, after that, then I actually read a couple of really good books back, well, kind of. Then I read A Matter of Temptation by Stacey Reed. This is a adorable historical romance. Mina and Simon. So basically Mina, her brother gets into some trouble, and he challenges Simon to a duel with a rapier. And her twin brother is not very good, and they used to always, like, she would dress up as him, and like they would pretend to be each other, so she knows that she can get away with pretending to be him. So she goes to this duel, and there she meets Simon, and Simon soon realizes that he was bested by a female, and so he invites her to come work for him, and yeah, I had a great time with it. I gave 5 stars. Then I finished Feels Like Love by Jenna Hartley. Again, this is in my Holidays with the Bells vlog, and this is, what were their names? Bennett and Ren. Best friend, sister, small town romance. I saw the, like, what was going to happen. Like, I could see all of the plot points and all the problems and all of the complications in their relationship from the beginning. Like, I knew what was going to happen with those. And yeah, I gave it 4 stars because it was very predictable, but it was still good. Like, it was a really good book, and I am excited to continue in the series. So, yes. Then I finished The Lady Gets Lucky by Joanna Shupe. Why I waited so long to finally pick this up, I don't know, but I absolutely adored it. It was fantastic. Kit and Alice is like Lessons in Seduction, which I just absolutely love. Kit and Alice are at this like house party, weekend party together, and Alice has a horrible mother, and overbearing to the max. And Kit is wanting to start a supper club with one of his best friends, who's actually the hero of the 3rd book, but he needs this one chef to help him out. Well, the chef like won't help him. Well, what happens is the chef is Alice's, like, she's really close to the chef, has made his recipes before, is friends with the chef, because he's the chef at the hotel that Alice always stays at in New York. And yeah, so she agrees to help Kit out if he'll teach her things about seduction and ways in the bedroom. And yeah, it's just fantastic. 5 stars. I absolutely adored it. Then I finished Heart Recaptured by Tilly Cole. This is the 2nd book in the Hades Hangman series, MC Club, Motorcycle Club series. This was Lila and Kai, and Lila truly believed that she was one of the cursed, whereas in the 1st book, May like escaped the cult. Lila didn't want to escape the cult. Like, she fully believed in what the cult was doing, and so she's having a really hard time adjusting to life on the outside of the cult, and doesn't believe that they were in a cult or anything like that. And she doesn't want to like Kai, but Kai ends up going to help her, like, kind of be outside in the world and like learn about that there's more beyond the walls of the cult. And yeah, it was not great. I didn't love it. I gave 3.5 stars. I only read it because I really want to read the 3rd and the 4th book. Like, those 2 sound fantastic. So I kind of just trudged through the 2nd one because I feel like you have to read them in order, because there is like a very important storyline that happens with the cult that you have to know. So you kind of have to read the 2nd book. So that's why I read it. Yeah, not a favorite, but it's fine. Then I finished my reread of A Court of Silver Flames for the SJM along. Can't believe that this is the 2nd to last book, the penultimate book, if you will. Nesta and Cassian are my babes, my loves. I think this might be my favorite. It's just, there's so much in this book that just resonates with me, and I just absolutely adore it. And yeah, it's a favorite for sure. And I can't tell you much because it's literally the 5th book in a series. So yeah, but yeah, it's my favorite. I think this reread has cemented it as my favorite. So I never disliked Nesta, whereas I know a lot of people did, and I never did. So yes, 5 stars if you didn't guess. Then I finished Finley, Donovan jumps the gun. This is the third book in the Finley Donovan series. I liked this one better than the second book, but still not as good as the first book. I think the first book was just so innovative and like so fun, and every book is like, you kind of question how Finley and Vera are still getting into the shenanigans that they're getting into. But yeah, I still had a great time. I gave it 4 stars. It was fun. It's just lighthearted. Like, the mystery, it doesn't take itself too seriously, so I had a good time with it. And you finally got some romance in this one with the cop, so yes. Then I read Until You by Katharina Mora. This is another brother's best friend sibling romance where they end up being roommates, so forced proximity. Basically, Aria, she has a boyfriend. She's a coder, and she has an online personality called Nyx, and she has this program, she has this program where they they do like online vigilante service where they find like bad guys, or they help people that aren't are like on death row or in jail for the wrong reasons. They help them with their cases, but then they also help find people that deserve to be in jail. So it's kind of like an online vigilante service, and she's been talking to this person, Ash. Well, it turns out that Ash is Grayson, who is her brother's best friend, and Grayson comes to visit for a week, and while he is there, Aria learns that her boyfriend is cheating on her. Her boyfriend that she lives with has been cheating on her and was really only using her because she's a really good coder. And yes, so Grayson kind of ifs with that guy's life in a coder way, and then the brother says to Grayson, take her, go. She needs a fresh start. She needs to go to San Francisco and be with your company. So she goes and moves with him, and of course one thing leads to another. They eventually learn who each other was. There's some complications with some stuff that happens. Yeah, I had a good time. I gave it, what did I end up giving it? 3.5 stars. Yeah, it's just, I think you could tell it was like a first book, so, but I had a good time with it, and I'm excited to read more from Katharina Mora. Then the final book that I finished in the month was Next of Kin by Hannah Bonham Young. I got this fantastic copy from Caitlin at the Love Librarian, so thank you, Caitlin. This will be in my March haul. But yeah, this is Chloe and Warren. And Chloe gets a call one day that she needs to come to the hospital because her birth mother has given birth to another child, and the child has all sorts of problems because the mom didn't know she was pregnant, and she was off doing drugs and drinking and doing things that people that don't know they're pregnant and are addicts do. And so she like ends up signing up to be a next of kin guardian. Only problem is she has a great apartment where she has like multiple rooms and lots of space, but she's a freelance graphic artist, and so she doesn't have like a steady solid income. Well, the CPS has decided to do this program called Team Up, where you then can work with someone that is in like an opposite situation. So in comes Warren, who has a great job. He works at a auto body shop or a car shop, fixing cars, but he only lives in a 1-bedroom apartment, and his brother is 15 and he is deaf, so there is deaf culture. I don't know how the rep is in this. They do use sign language, which I thought was great, but again, I don't know how the rep is. I can't speak to that. And I lost my train of thought. Oh, so Warren lives in a 1-bedroom apartment. So, and when you're over the age of 10, you have to have, like, kids over the age of 10 have to have their own bedroom. So they need to they team up. And so, because Chloe's sister is obviously just a baby, so she doesn't need her own bedroom. She can sleep in Chloe's room, and then Warren and Luke can each have their own room. And yeah, it was wonderful. It was so cute and fun, and I gave it 4 stars. I had a good time with it. But yeah, that is all I have. Those are the 15 plus 2 DNFs that I had this month, or this half of the month. And yeah, I had a good time. I'm really excited for March and all the reads that I got going on. And yeah, if you made it to the end of this video, leave me a sunflower. I think there's a sunflower. Leave me a sunflower emoji for next of kin. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the fun stuff. It really helps me out. And I'll talk to you on the next one. Bye.